Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to RPtv.
Good morning and welcome to RPtv. Today is Thursday, February 27th, 2020. When something is announced as coming from unknown origins, it may be something to pay close attention to. And that's where we are at when it comes to the coronavirus. Michelle has that report.
Health officials have confirmed a new case of coronavirus infection in California that could be a sign that the virus is spreading in a U.S. community. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported the case last night. It is a person in California who had no known travel to a country where a virus outbreak has been taking place or a connection to a known patient. All of the 60 other cases in the U.S. had traveled from abroad or had been in close contact with those who traveled. Health officials have been on high alert for what they call community spread. The outbreak, which began in China, has infected tens of thousands of people in more than 36 countries, with the vast majority in mainland China. The virus can cause fever, coughing, wheezing, and pneumonia. Health officials think it spreads mainly from droplets when an infected person coughs or sneezes, similar to how the flu spreads.
The controversy over the sale of e-cigarettes continues to grow, and now as the New Jersey state government is checking into their methods of advertising. Caitlin has the details.
New Jersey has been investigating how Juul advertises themselves and the market for their products. 38 other states have also been looking into the company and the relationship the company has with its underage patrons. As a father myself, I am deeply troubled by the soaring popularity among young people of vaping products in general and of Juul's products in particular. State Attorney General Gerbier Gruhl said, "Many residents of the state are suing the company, including one Middlesex County teen who was so addicted to the product he slept with it. The company manages to mix nicotine and other chemicals into a small USB drive-sized package as an alternative to cigarettes, but the compact package makes the product appealing to teens. The Juul company wrote an email that they will be working with attorney generals, regulators, and other stakeholders to fight against underage use of their products and adult smokers switching to combustible cigarettes. The company has also recently limited the sale of flavored options, stopped advertisements from playing on TV, and spent $1 billion trying to reconstruct themselves. Since 2017, it has been illegal to sell tobacco products to anyone under the age of 21, and last month, Governor Phil Murphy signed a law that bans the use of flavored vaping products.
Now it's time for the announcements. Polka. Black History Month celebration is today, after school in the Media Center. The FHCC, in collaboration with retailer Aeropostale, is collecting gently used jeans that will be distributed to homeless teens. Jeans are the one item most requested by homeless teenagers. Please drop off or send to the nurse's office by Friday, March 27th. Art Club and National Art Honor Society will be meeting Fridays after school in room 102 during this year. We are working on projects and sometimes exploring new media. Join us. Also, Art Club and National Art Honor Society are collecting real or made-up recipes connecting to community, culture, or connections. These can be any size, handwritten, and decorated, and will be sent to a program associated with the Bezos Family Foundation. For every recipe submitted, $3 will be donated to organizations providing food to undernourished people around the world. Please help. See Ms. Scuccio for further information and supplies. Attention juniors. Gertrude Hawk orders are due no later than Friday, February 28th. Please see Ms. Hernandez or Ms. Kowalski with your orders ASAP. The Borough of Roselle Park will be holding its annual St. Patrick's Day celebration on Saturday, March 7th, 2020, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Starting at 3 p.m., Joe Caracelli's Masterpiece Orchestras will perform authentic Irish music. Authentic Irish food will be served during the event, which consists of corned beef, cabbage, boiled potatoes, carrots, Irish soda bread, and rye bread, as well as dessert. Mayor Signorello and the board and the Borough Council invite everyone to join the festivities. Promposal contest for seniors. It's time to get creative with your promposals. The best, most creative promposal will win a free prom ticket. Check your email for contest rules or see Mr. Silverlight or Miss Robinson for info.
Hi, my name is Aldous.
Hi, my name is Leo. Pennies for Patients raises funds in support of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
This coming Friday is our last collection day, so please donate. And the winning homeroom gets one free bagel breakfast.
There's been a lot of talk about attending college for free, and for some students in New Jersey, that possibly may soon be a reality. Michelle has the latest information.
Governor Phil Murphy wants $50 million to send low-income students to any four-year public college in New Jersey tuition-free for 2 years. On Tuesday, during his 2020 state budget address, Murphy proposed paying for students' first 2 years at Rutgers, Rowan, or other public universities. Families that make less than $65,000 annually qualify for this. New Jersey would pay the tuition costs that remain after students' state and federal grants are exhausted. According to Governor Murphy, this part of his progressive vision for state government is called the Garden State Guarantee. It builds on the state's current program that covers the cost of community college for eligible families after state and federal grants. The concept allows the state to offer a big dream for a relatively small investment. This proposal puts New Jersey among a growing number of states who are trying to offer a tuition-free college education to low and middle-income families. Low-income students already receive state and federal grants that cover much of the cost of community college tuition. According to this state data, in the spring 2019, under the pilot program, New Jersey sent around 5,400 students to free community college for a total of roughly $6 million. State and federal grants also make a dent in the cost of four-year public colleges, though it's unclear how much the state projects it will cost to send students to Rutgers or other universities.
Stay tuned, we will be right back. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and stay tuned for CNN 10.
From the CNN Center to viewers around the world, this is CNN 10, and I'm Carl Azus. Wherever and however you're watching, thank you for doing it. U.S. President Donald Trump held a news conference last night to address the coronavirus we've talked so much about. Since it was first identified in Wuhan, China in mid-December, the disease has infected more than 80,000 people worldwide and killed more than 2,700 people. Most of the infections and deaths have been in China. And while health officials have said this virus is not as widespread or deadly as the flu, there are concerns that it may start to spread seasonally like influenza does. The new coronavirus has now been diagnosed on every continent but Antarctica. It appears to be deadly in around 2% of cases. Symptoms of survivors range from severe to mild. There's no vaccine or cure for it, so people around the world are asking what governments and health officials are doing to prevent its spread. In the United States, the Trump administration has said the disease is contained at this point, meaning it's not spreading through communities. Health officials from the Centers for Disease Control say the immediate risk is low and that they're working to keep it that way, but that wider transmission in America is likely.
This virus is probably with us beyond this season or beyond this year, and I think eventually the virus will find a foothold and we will get community-based transmission. And you can start to think of it in a sense like seasonal flu. The only difference is we don't understand this virus.
Yesterday, the Trump administration requested that $2.5 billion be set aside to pay for America's response to the disease. That would include vaccine development, preparing medical offices for patients, and closely tracking where and when coronavirus shows up. The White House says it's confident that the money it requested will be enough, but critics in Congress say much more is needed. Senate Democrats have requested that $8.5 billion be used to fight coronavirus. These are some of the issues that President Trump talked about yesterday at the White House.
We've stopped non-U.S. citizens from coming into America from China. That was done very early on. We're screening people, and we have been at a very high level, screening people coming into the country from infected areas. We have in quarantine those infected and those at risk. We have a lot of great quarantine facilities. We're rapidly developing a vaccine, and they can speak to you. The professionals can speak to you about that. The vaccine is coming along well, and in speaking to the doctors, we think this is something that we can develop fairly rapidly, a vaccine for the future. But we're very, very ready for this, for anything, whether it's going to be a breakout of larger proportions or whether or not we're at that very low level, and we want to keep it that way.
What is a pandemic? To understand that, we need to first understand where they start.
An epidemic is simply an outbreak of infection in a localized area. A pandemic is when that infection spreads to multiple countries or around the world.
And while on one hand we're better protected than before, on the other, our changing society brings together a host of other challenges.
In this day and age, all you need is one person at the airport and you can infect the whole world.
The majority of pandemics to date have been strains of influenza, though pandemics can be any type of infection, usually a virus. Many new or novel viruses come from animals. They can pass onto humans after close contact, in a process called zoonotic spillover.
And when that happens, sometimes the virus is not very transmittable because it's suited to circulating only in animals. But sometimes we see ones that can transmit from person to person, and they can be quite efficient at doing this. And in that case, an outbreak can become an epidemic as it grows, and there's a chance that it could spread more widely.
This is what happened in the 2009 swine flu pandemic. A pig influenza virus moved into people. Pig viruses are similar to human viruses, and that allowed human-to-human transmission to happen quicker. More than a decade has passed since the 2009 pandemic, and the world's population has grown, as have the risks of passing viruses between people.
We're getting more and more people on the planet. We're having more and more globalization. People are traveling from country to country more than ever before. So these are the kind of things that will cause pandemics to happen.
Medicine, technology, and communication have all improved with time, and serious outbreaks require international cooperation. But experts say the real question isn't if a new pandemic strikes, but instead how bad it could be.
10-second trivia. Which of these social media networks is owned by a Chinese company? Pinterest, TikTok, WhatsApp, or Snapchat? All of these networks are owned by American companies except TikTok, which was launched in 2016. Today, TikTok has hundreds of millions of users around the world, but there are new restrictions on how U.S. government workers can use the app. As of this week, the Transportation Security Administration says TikTok may no longer be used for its social media outreach. The TSA is responsible for keeping America's airports secure. It employs around 50,000 security officers to help do this, and the agency says it uses several social media platforms to communicate with Americans. Like other apps, TikTok collects information about the people who use it. But because TikTok is owned by a Chinese company, and because there are laws in China that require companies to cooperate with the intelligence work of the Chinese government, some U.S. security experts and lawmakers have said using TikTok could cause problems for America's national security. The TSA says it's never had an official TikTok account, but that a small number of its employees have used the app to make videos for the agency's social media outreach. That's not allowed anymore. The TSA is joining the Department of Defense, the State Department, and the Department of Homeland Security in putting restrictions on how their employees can use TikTok.
I'm out walking the streets looking for people whose pets need some care. Would you mind if I take a look at them? Please. Yeah?
Ready to go. Eli Manning, what's up, brother? I told you were gonna wear a lampshade.
Get him some help, and I think we should do it sooner than later. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, man, I love him. He's my son.
This is my whole life. And cray dream is, like I say, to get her eyes fixed and me get off the cancer.
I know the pets are reliant on people, but I think the people are even more dependent on their pets. They love them and care for them, and it's genuine.
News bloopers always rate 10 out of 10. Justin Hinton is a reporter with CNN affiliate WLOS. He was live on the station's Facebook page last week talking about snowfall in North Carolina, but there was a little problem. He'd accidentally flipped on the face filters.
So kind of across the region, you know, Governor Cooper had put out a message earlier today warning people to be careful.
And the longer it went on, the better it went on. Hinton says he didn't even realize this was happening until he saw the comments. News station employees, friends, and viewers were all writing in telling him how funny his report was. Once everything was wrapped up, Hinton said, if you can't laugh at yourself, what's the point of laughter? Some people get nervous facing the camera. Justin just makes faces at it. He could have done an about face and faced up to defacing an otherwise factual report with some silly face time, but let's face the music and face the facts. Justin put his best face forward and saved face by flashing a smile that no one could have faced, and that is face news. I'm Carl Azus for CNN 10. Valley High School in Gilcrest, Colorado is the home where the Vikings roam, It's great to have you guys watching on YouTube.